Have you ever felt a knot in your stomach when you're with someone? An unease you can't explain? Have you noticed that certain people leave you drained, as if they were sucking out your energy? You're not crazy, your unconscious is trying to tell you something. And if you don't listen, it will make sure to shout it louder. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychoanalyst, said that the unconscious speaks to us constantly, not with words but with emotions, dreams, repetitive patterns, and physical sensations. Those signals you ignore day after day are the way your mind is begging you to pay attention. Imagine you're in a room full of smoke. At first you barely notice it, but over time you start coughing. Your eyes burn and it becomes harder to breathe. What do? Do you stay there hoping the smoke will disappear on its own, or do you look for a way out? Toxic relationships are like that room, and your unconscious is the fire alarm telling you to get out before it's too late. The problem is that we've been taught to endure, to be strong, to never give up. But there is a difference between being strong and being a masochist. Moving away from what harms us is not weakness. It's wisdom, it's self-love. Jung spoke about the process of individuation, that journey to become our truest self. But to get there, we must first let go of what holds us back. And that often means leaving behind people we love, but who no longer do us good. I know it hurts. I know it's scary. Loneliness can be terrifying. But do you know what's worse? Living a life that is not yours, trapped in dynamics that drain you, surrounded by people who don't value you. That is truly terrifying. Your unconscious knows this. That's why it sends you signals. It makes you feel anxious, sad, irritable. It shows you repetitive patterns in your relationships. It makes you dream of escapes, of running away, of freedom. Don't ignore it, listen to it. Think about the times you felt something wasn't right, but you ignored it. What happened afterward? Did the situation improve, or did it get worse? Most of the time it gets worse because the unconscious doesn't give up. If you don't listen, it will scream louder, and if you still ignore it, it will make you sick. Yes, you heard that right. Many psychosomatic illnesses have their origin in repressed emotions, in toxic relationships, in situations that harm us and that we don't want to face. Your body becomes the messenger of your soul, and if you don't listen, we'll make sure you do. Don't wait until it's too late. You don't need a logical reason to move away from someone. If they make you feel bad, if they drain you, if they make you doubt yourself, it's enough. Your well-being is reason enough. Remember, moving away isn't selfish. It's an act of self-love. It's telling yourself, I deserve something better. And you do, we all do. Don't cling to what no longer serves you. Don't stay in a relationship out of fear of being alone. Loneliness can be a blessing. It's in solitude that we find ourselves, that we heal, that we grow. And when you let go of what harms you, you'll make room for the new, for healthy relationships, for opportunities for growth. But first you must let go. Trust yourself. Trust your intuition. Listen to your unconscious. It knows what you need and it's speaking to you. Are you willing to listen? And here is where it all becomes even more interesting. Because we're not just talking about people or relationships. We're talking about invisible loyalties. Yes, those silent allegiances you've developed without realizing it. Those internal pacts you made with your parents, with your family, with your version of the past. How many times have you stayed in a place that's destroying you because you don't want to betray what you're supposed to be, what's expected of you, what you've always been? But what if what you were no longer serves you? What if that identity you defend tooth and nail is based on old wounds? Your unconscious doesn't only talk to you about external relationships. It also shouts at you about the relationship you have with yourself. about how you sabotage yourself, how you self-limit, how you repeat behaviors just because they make you feel safe, even though that safety is killing you little by little. Jung said it clearly. What you do not make conscious appears in your life as fate. Do you realize it's not the universe against you? It's you, it's your unhealed wounds, your inherited beliefs, your unresolved fears. They are the ones dragging you to repeat toxic connections, to choose again and again what hurts you. And do you know why? Because your unconscious seeks coherence. Not happiness, it seeks to repeat the known. Even if it destroys you, it does it because you taught it that this is love, that this is belonging. But here comes the most brutal part. Many times you don't move away from the one who hurts you, because deep down you believe you deserve that harm. Because you were raised in an emotional system that confused sacrifice with love, control with protection, dependence with intimacy. So when someone ignores you, manipulates you, or emotionally crushes you, something inside of you interprets it as normal, as familiar as home. That's why cutting those ties is so painful. You're not just letting go of a person, you're letting go of an identity, a belief system, a pattern that has guided your life without you even realizing it. And that's where many people get stuck. Not in the pain of loss, but in the vertigo of not knowing who they are. Without that pattern, without that person, without that drama, it's the void that remains. When you decide to leave behind what hurts you, and yes, that void is scary because pain, no matter how destructive, has a function. It keeps you busy, entertained, anesthetized. But when you decide to free yourself, silence appears, calmness. And in that calmness, your true self emerges. The one who doesn't need external validation, the one who doesn't beg for love, the one who doesn't tolerate emotional crumbs. And here is where many fail. They confuse that calm with loneliness, that void with failure. But it's not an end, it's a rebirth. It's the fertile space where you can finally plant something new, something yours. And no, it won't be immediate. The process hurts, but it also transforms, because growing always involves mourning, paying farewells. People talk about self-love as if it's putting on a mask and repeating nice phrases in front of the mirror. But real self-love is much rawer. It's having the courage to face your shadows head-on, to accept that you've also failed, that you've also allowed things you knew were destroying you. Self-love is taking responsibility. It's saying no more and holding it even when your legs shake. And here comes into play something fundamental: intuition. That inner voice that doesn't shout, that doesn't reason, that just feels. The one that's always been there, but you've covered it with noise, with justifications, with fear. Your intuition is the purest way your unconscious tries to guide you. How many times did you feel that something wasn't right and still went ahead? Why did you do it? Out of habit, out of fear, to avoid discomfort. And meanwhile, that voice grew quieter. It became smaller, until you learned to ignore it completely. But now that you know, are you going to keep silencing it? The awakening begins when you start listening again, not to others, to yourself, to your body, to your emotions, to that discomfort that doesn't go away even though you smile, to that tiredness that doesn't heal with sleep, to that sadness that won't go away even though everything is fine. Those are the real signals. The unconscious doesn't send you messages to torture you. It sends them to save you. And do you know what the problem is? We've glorified resistance, endurance, suffering for love, holding on to impossible bonds as proof of emotional maturity. But no, it's not maturity. It's fear. Fear of letting go, fear of the unknown. Fear of being left with nothing. But staying where there's nothing left is even worse. It's letting your essence die little by little. Because every time you choose to stay where you're not valued, you're sending a message to your unconscious. This is what I deserve, and it believes it and acts accordingly. That's why you keep stumbling into the same profiles, the same dynamics, the same pain with a different name. But today can be different. Today you can choose yourself, not out of ego, but out of necessity, out of emotional survival, out of internal integrity. You can cut that invisible thread that ties you to what you are. No longer you can say goodbye without hate, without rage, without resentment, just with clarity and with love. Love for yourself, because at the end of the day, no one is going to come and save you. There is no external redemption. There's no movie ending where someone fixes everything for you. What there is a door. It's always been there, but it's inside, at opening. It requires courage. The courage to look at your story without victimization, to accept your part, to take control. The question is not, why is this happening to me? The real question is, why do I keep allowing this? And when you start changing that question, everything begins to move. Because you stop waiting for change to come from outside, and you realize the signal has always been within you. Look around you. What dynamics repeat? What people drain your energy? What situations make you feel small? How many more times are you going to ignore the obvious? Today can be the first day you decide to trust yourself. The day you decide to take a step, even without having everything figured out. The day you accept that fear won't disappear, but that even with fear you can move forward. Today can be the day you listen to what you've been silencing for years. And when you do, everything will change. Because what aligns with your truth, with your authenticity, will come naturally, without struggle, without chaos, without wear. But for that, you first have to make space. You have to let go. You have to close the door to what you no longer are. And that, even though you may not believe it, is the greatest act of love you can give yourself. And if you've made it this far, maybe it's because deep down, there's something inside of you that already knew all this. Maybe you've been ignoring the signs for a long time. Maybe you've disguised your intuition as anxiety, your discomfort as temporary things, your exhaustion as just tiredness. But you can't lie to yourself anymore, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. When you wake up, there's no going back, and here you are with your eyes open. Now comes the hardest part and the most beautiful. The void that comes after letting go isn't the end. It's the prologue to a new story. But it's up to you to fill it. What are you going to fill it with? More distractions, more people who just keep you busy so you don't think, or with truth, with intention, with purpose. Most people fear the silence because that's where their own voice resonates. And that voice is not always sweet. Sometimes it's harsh, brutal, relentless, but it's real. And it's yours. It's the only one that will never lie to you. Carl Jung called it the shadow. That part of you that you hide, that you deny, that you don't want to show. But in that shadow, there is also your strength, your freedom, your power. Integrating it is your task. And that journey begins when you decide to stop betraying yourself. When you no longer sell yourself out for the sake of belonging. When you don't negotiate your peace to fit in. Because tell me, how much longer are you going to postpone your authenticity? How much longer are you going to keep living a borrowed life? surrounded by false smiles and empty conversations. How long will you pretend everything is fine when inside you just want to scream? You have an opportunity right here, right now. No one is going to give you permission. No one is going to applaud you for moving away from what no longer serves you. In fact, many will question you. They'll say you've changed, that you've become cold, selfish, strange, perfect. That's the price of freedom, to discomfort those who live asleep. And if they criticize you, let them, because criticism is the echo of someone else's discomfort. In the face of someone who decided to live awake, today you can decide not to conform. You can choose the path few dare to take. The one of being you without masks, without adornments, without permission. And if you don't know where to start by stopping ignoring what you already know. What your body is screaming at you, what your emotions are whispering to you, what your soul is begging you. If this video moved something inside of you, if you felt that uncomfortable tingle while listening, don't let it pass, write it down. Look at it, feel whatever you need to feel. But don't bury it again, don't go back to sleep. And now, before you go, if all of this resonated with you, I want you to leave a sentence in the comments. I choose to listen to what I've always kept silent. That will be our secret. Sign a code between those who decided to open their eyes, between those who don't settle, between those who are ready to break the cycle. Subscribe if you feel this is your place. If you're tired of superficial content and prefer truths that hurt. But awaken here, we won't sugarcoat reality. We'll break it down to rebuild you. And if you dare to join me on this journey, it will be brutal. Because what's coming is not for everyone. And just to close, listen closely. You are not weak for wanting to let go. You are not a coward for seeking peace. You are not selfish for choosing yourself. You are awakening, and that, even though it hurts, is the bravest act you can commit. Now go, but not the same way you came. Go with questions, go with rage if you need to. With courage, with discomfort. But go with something new beating in your chest. Because if I achieve that, then this video was worth it. We'll see each other next time. If you can still look at life the same after this. Or maybe not, maybe you're no longer the same perfect. That was the plan. Until then, disappear to find yourself.